Hello, it's Angela Dunbar here, and today I'm talking to you about a very short, simple clean language question. It's just 3 words long and can be phrased in a couple of different ways. You can say, then what happens? Or you can say, what happens next? Both versions of this question invite your coachee to take time forwards and notice what goes on then, perhaps as a consequence to whatever situation, event or action that they've just spoken about. It's kind of like turning the page over in a book to the next one. It kind of continues along the path of inquiry until it reaches its conclusion. And please note that, like all clean language questions, the question is phrased in the present tense, not past or future. So we're not asking them to recall their memory about something that happened last week. You're not saying, then what happened, which would encourage them to continue to share their description of past events. We want to know what happens next in the here and now as they are recollecting. The questions are directed at the coachee's inner experience, and in here they can explore consequences and see what happens in all kinds of different scenarios. This question is particularly useful when the coachee is describing taking a certain course of action to remedy a problem that they're experiencing. And coachees will often do this. Instead of focusing on an end result, they'll tell you a strategy they want to take them to rid themselves of the problem. They'll often describe this as wanting less of the problem or to stop the issue. Whenever you ask, then what happens, it helps the coachee consider whether the strategy they're proposing is actually going to work and get them to an appropriate end result. It sounds obvious that it will, but sometimes stopping one problem can set off another. Hopefully, though, the question encourages the coachee to take a look at the light at the end of the tunnel and what's out there. For instance, your coachee might say, if I could just stop wasting my time, everything would be okay. Well, this isn't really an outcome, just an expression of wanting to stop the problem, a remedy or a strategy. And when coachees focus too much on remedies, they tend to stay stuck as they're still too close to that problem. The mental frame of reference, if you like, is still within that box that they need to get out of. So let's imagine what might happen if we try our question. As with most clean language questions, we repeat back the coachee's actual words and build on them with and. We also point to a time frame by adding a word to make it and when. So we might respond by asking, and if you could just stop wasting your time, everything would be okay. And when you stop wasting your time, then what happens? This question might help the coachee articulate a clear outcome, such as, well, then I can finish writing my report. Or they might reflect on the fact that it would mean they have to address a major issue that they've been avoiding by wasting their own time. Sometimes just along that path is another blockage or a crossroads, perhaps the real issue that has until now been masked by the coachee's focus on ridding themselves of the stated problem. So you can see a simple question that could unpick quite a complex pattern. But also the question can be used more simplistically to build an understanding of a sequence in time. You can ask it a few questions in a row to get a step-by-step sequence. And then what happens? And what happens next? And then what happens? In clean language, we call this modelling when we're attempting to map out a sequence of thoughts, actions, feelings and behaviour that take the coachee from where they are now to where they want to be. That's all for today. Enjoy this question and I will speak to you again soon, I hope. This is Angela Dunbar from the Clean Coaching Centre. Do check us out at www.cleancoaching.com. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.